They're trying to make our society secular in the city, the state, the country, internationally. But what they don't tell you is what do they expect that's going to come behind that? Supposing they all got their way, we became a so-called secular society. What would we be left with? They will not answer that question because it's not answerable. You will never take out of man. Just watch the animal kingdom. You will never take out from man, ladies too, of course, their desire to do good. The basic human being is to do good. And part of being do good is you have to have faith. You have to have faith in something. I once said to one of my atheist friends, you're at a stop sign, there's lights there. The light turns green, you go. Do you have any faith that that man on the red side's not going to come through and knock you off? And he was dumbfounded. There is faith in all of us. You cannot deny faith. And that, to me, is the bigger issue. We cannot allow a minority to take over for the majority of this country. And these poor students, I feel so bad for these students. And I'm sure you're getting a lot of it too, Superintendent, as well as the board. Because now they have to listen to this stuff, they have to put up with it. I suppose there's maybe even fights as far as I know. I've heard some of these people speak. I've heard something that this gentleman put in that was on. This is a tough situation, but sometimes the intellectual should not rule on the hot things. The intellect, the statutes, the laws is only the answer in this country. It never has been. Let me just close with this. I have a lot of books, and sometimes I read them for pleasure, and sometimes I just look up for this. This is by Edwin T. Dahlberg. It says, quote, brotherhood must have a religious basis if it is to have any real significance. Without faith in the fatherhood of God, as Jesus and the prophets preached it, people have a pretty hard time being brotherly. They drift off into hate society, C-A-A-S-O-U, or more often into the society of the indifferent. Let's not just happen to us.
Yes, my name is Bob Bagley. I lived in Cranston 1961 on Cranston Street. The gentleman did as far as I'm concerned, an accurate job in respect to what prevails today to keep the banner in the schools. I look at it this way, if that banner was made out of paper, if the banner on the Washington Monument was made out of paper, and the Lincoln Memorial, well, that is a fleeting thing. Paper can dissolve, paper after a week or two or three can go away. But everything was made and etched out of stone for a reason, because our forefathers established this country with a strong foundation, hoping and realizing that it's going to be forever and ever. Why? Because it involves values, character, faith in the Almighty. That is a part of our establishment from time immemorial. There is a special reason for this. During the course of all of these years, people had faith. Way back, you never really heard of so-called atheists up until the 60s, the time when Marilyn O'Hare brought it up. Since then, everyone started to reassess what was going on. What was going on was established for 200 years, and then some. That was the foundation. That is the foundation of our country. Faith. Faith in establishment of set principles, set values. This should be absolutely carried on. For I cannot understand a minority coming into the established 200-year society and saying, hey, wait a minute, something I want my due rights. What due rights? The due rights is established on a majority of opinion. The majority of opinion established 200 years ago, up to the 1960s. It was established all during this time without any objection in the news or governmental objection. Nothing was established up to the 60s. And who did it? One person. She started it. One person. So during the course of this time, everyone gets confused. What confused? Confused. What we are the majority. The faith-loving, God-fearing people. I don't care what religion it is. Now, as Chris Young said, atheism is a religion. Okay? They should reassess that, because I don't even think they realize that. So this is something that they have to assess. And I hope and pray that their thinking and feeling goes in the right direction after going into the field and looking at the stars in the clouds, in the sunshine. I hope they assess their feelings. Because if they don't, they're on the dark side, unfortunately. My opinion, look, that would be everyone that has faith. Their opinion as well. So to sum it up, everything is etched in stone for a reason. It is an established belief of all of our faith-loving people. There is absolutely no reason why for 200 years something should be taken off for a very few amount of people. No reason.
My name is Liliana DeVideo. I live in Warwick, but I have grandchildren who go to Cranston West, and I have a granddaughter who graduated from Cranston West. I've been to a lot of their plays with my granddaughter, the majority of the sewing for the displays that were put on there. And I think it's a great school, and I have two grandchildren who presently go there. Now this banner, I don't remember all the different sayings, but it has a lot of wonderful morals and values written for those students. Now I have one thing to say. There has been recent statements made by authorities that 40%, I hate to say this, tragic, 40% of all the babies born in the United States are born to unwed mothers. I think that we could use morals and values instead of putting them away.
My name is Dr. Benjamin Healy. I'm originally from Kentucky, and I now live in Bowerville. I've had the pleasure of coming down to Cranston, and I've been solicited in the Church of St. Mary's to come and speak tonight and to stand up for God. I just look at the news today on the television, and in Libya they're having a tremendous fight. The people are getting killed. But here in Cranston, I don't see anyone being shot. So I want to compliment you all on the ability to speak your opinion, and I stand up for God, and that's my opinion.
I just wanted to say something quickly. My name's Richard Cappuccino, 1640 Fifth Orchard Road, and from listening to the board at the beginning of the meeting and hearing that the ACLU has more money than we have, I hate to see it come down to money if so many people feel so strongly about something like this.
And I am a Cranston student, my whole family, everybody, nothing happened to us. If people feel defensive, I don't remember ever being told we had to read it. Just don't read it. It's been there for years. There's a lot of things we don't agree upon. We don't agree upon taxes. We don't agree upon a lot of things, but we have to do it. I mean, what are you going to do? I don't see the defense.
You gonna say anything?
Well,
Ready to go there? Sure. Yes, please.
I'm a 1967 graduate of Cranston High School West.
Don't look it.
And we used to
Excuse me, did you have Mr. Trafficante as a teacher?
I did.
And we used to say that all the time when we'd have auditorium, things in the auditorium, we used to say the prayer. And we were instructed if you didn't want to say the prayer, you could just bow your head. And that's what people did. And I don't see anything offensive about it. And I think, like that lady over there said, it's full of moral things for the kids to go by. And we need more of that these days.
Yes, my name is Anne Marie Brown. I live at 117 Thomas Street in Cranston. I just want to say a couple things. I agree with the gentleman that previously spoke. I'm thinking this might be a money issue, and I also feel that it shouldn't come down to that. Seems to me from the majority of people in this room, the majority of the people in this room are not representing me. And back down and let the ACLU win, and probably counting on the fact that the city doesn't have the money to go forward and fight this thing. I think that's would be really tragic. I think people are really behind money to be raised for legal funds. And also, I didn't grow up in Cranston, but I had occasion to be at the auditorium for the mayor's inauguration back in January, and I just happened to turn my head and really had to crane my head to look up and to see the banner, or prayer, or whatever you people call it. And first of all, I would have never even noticed it. I am Catholic, but I read it, and I tried to think of it, if I wasn't religious, if I was of another religion, see if it would be offensive to me, and I felt you really had to look at it to even notice it. And again, you can turn your head away. There's a lot of things that I turn my head away at, because I understand that people have a right and to speak their mind, to be heard, to believe in what they believe in, and that's what this country is founded on. But again, I don't think that we should just back down because a liberal group decides that this is the point where they like to make.
My name is Ray Borsha. I live at 77 Woodstock Lane in Cranston. I lived there for about 40 years, and I also live in Narragansett part-time. I'm a little upset by the council. I hope that what this gentleman up front said, that this is a done deal, I hope that's not true. I really, really go to meetings. I leave it up to the people that I vote for, that they do the right thing. But this is upsetting me a lot.
Mr. Borsha, you were misled.
I hope so.
I can assure you of that. That's not what's supposed to put up on Facebook. When you don't learn.
Mr. Trafficante, I believe what you said. I think you guys are gonna have a backbone and stand up for what's right. And this is wrong. It's wrong.
I'm Ed Pittman. I live at 106 Glenwood Road in Cranston, and I have to be affiliated for Larry, vote for this country. I think if we don't draw a line